What up, what up, what up, internet? Who you are, where you be, where you at, what you see. This is Pop Coat Crew, your favorite podcast under the new moon. I'm one of your hosts, Mark M.F. Jones, and I'm joined by.
This is Niels RY, aka I lied to you.
And and this is Shannon, aka Road to Dublin on repeat, aka the Irishman.
And before we get
Respect.
started, why don't y'all let me in? Come on, man, let me on in this sweet podcast. Let's just be kind to one another, friends to one another. And if you haven't figured it out, we're talking about the new hit sensation, maybe contender for the best movie of the year, Sinners by Ryan Coogler, sweeping the nation. I think, fellas, this has been the highest grossing original IP movie since 2010, something like that, in the last 10 years.
Wow.
It
Sheesh.
only had, in its second week, it only had a 6% drop in ticket sales. That is
That
unheard
hasn't
of.
happened in a long
That
time.
is unheard of. So goes
When's
without
the last time
saying,
that's happened? Like Titanic?
I
Avatar? Maybe? It's
I don't
James
think even
Cameron. I know the answer
yeah,
is James
James
Cameron.
Cameron's probably the answer. I don't
I
think
know that
even
much.
Endgame did something like that. So like this is a big deal. This movie is making a big splash. It's Ryan Coogler, with a bunch of great characters. But before we get into this great movie, fellas, we got to talk about the debate that's sweeping the nation, taking hearts and souls and just brother against brother, household against household, man against ape, 100 men against one gorilla. Who's walking out alive? Do we just want to get into it?
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I have things to say, but go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, okay. If you've been living under a rock, there's just been this growing debate on the internet where who knows where things come from, but the question was presented to the world: Can 100 dudes take one gorilla? Some people have been saying yes, without a doubt. Some people have been saying no way. Gentlemen, where do you stand?
I'll throw mine out right quick. Gorilla, Thriller, French Vanilla, 100 Men in 5.
Yes. This is not a real question. The answer is 100 men. But I will entertain the conversation. I will entertain it, and I have reasons for why we should be entertaining this conversation. But the answer is humans.
Okay. Before I get into, I agree with you guys. I think 100 men. Here's the thing. If when we say 100 men, do we get to choose, or is this just at
And
random?
this is where I want to start the conversation. This is where I want to start. Because if we're talking context here, let's start human. Let me start with the gorilla context. All right.
Mhm.
How locked in is the gorilla?
Yeah. Is
You
this
know what I'm saying?
is this your
Is
everyday
this,
gorilla, or is this like
Gorilla Grodd.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Is this like LeBron James, Zero Dark 30, Miami Heat against Boston Celtics, locked in gorilla? Because if the gorilla's locked in, we got to talk a little bit more.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no I'm not saying the answer is in humans. I'm just saying we got to have a little bit of a conversation. If you telling me the gorilla's like, I'm focused, like, I know what it is and I'm down, I just think we got to talk a little bit. All
Yeah.
right. That's gorilla context. Human context. Are the men volunteering or are they being like randomly Thanos snapped into an arena with the deranged gorilla?
Yeah.
And they're like, what's up? Because again, I think the answer is still humans, but it's we got to talk
It's a
about it a little
whole
bit.
different
We got to talk
conversation.
about it.
Because depending on the man, I mean, like no offense to any professions, but it's like if you got accountants and like your white collar workers, and then on top of that, we got people. I mean, I don't know what we talking in our 30s. I mean, you got to combat not just the gorilla, you fight against plantar fasciitis, sore elbows. So you
Blood
already like,
pressure,
yeah, high blood pressure.
allergies. Where you fighting this gorilla at?
Yeah.
Like, this whole debate made me realize a couple things. One, people really are feeling themselves. People get in the weight room and they start like, yeah, I could take a gorilla. Chill, dog, chill. That's one. And humans need to get out and observe nature more. I recently have been to the DC Zoo. It ain't gonna be easy, even with 100 people. It ain't gonna be.
No,
We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose a lot of good people.
I want to know the integrity of these men because those first four, the things that will happen to those first four men, and all 96 of them are going to see that, how they going to react. Because you're going to sign up to be I'm next. When you see what he does, I'm not even sure he's going to kill the four men. But what he's going to do to those four men, and you are witnessing it, you're going to be like, I can't wait to be number five. Come on now. I don't know, man. I'm just saying you might approach this a little differently when you see it in action.
I say if 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 only 20 to 30 people die, flawless victory. We can walk away with our heads high. If only 20 to 30 people die, we did it. We showed him.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I mean, to be real, like you're saying, 20 to 30 die. That's like a 70 to 80% success rate. And I mean,
Still a
like,
B.
that's better than any survey I've ever administered.
Still a passing grade.
Yo, if those 82 people survived, there will be a damn parade for those 82 people. All right. They will be American heroes when they return back.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw this out too. Just so the strength. So I was looking up like basically, which I'm sure I'm Googling what every person in America has been Googling over the last couple of days. I was like, how strong is a gorilla? Like basically, it's I Googled it and it was like so just biting. A gorilla's so we'll start with a human. A human's bite force PSI measured in PSI is somewhere between 120 to 200, whatever whatever that means.
Respect. Mhm.
A gorilla's is up to 1,300. So that's just the bite. The bite.
Just biting.
Now let's just throw in bench press really quickly. The highest ever like raw recorded bench press of a human was 738.5 pounds, and they said that's like
That's
without
that's heavy.
gear. So
Jeez, that's
738.
impressive. That's
Yeah,
that's
That's very impressive.
yeah,
that's
That's
impressive.
astonishing.
You should be
yeah, and
fighting
then
crime. If you can bench press that
Yes,
much, you should
that's
be a crime.
Batman.
yeah.
Yeah, you should be fighting crime.
Yes.
And then like with gear, it's been up to like 770. So that's like crazy.
Amazing. Amazing.
A gorilla estimate somewhere between 1,100 to 2,200.
And that's just your everyday gorilla. That's the
Yeah,
gorilla that doesn't train, that doesn't go
Oh
to the
my
weight room. That's
God.
the gorilla that doesn't go to summer camp, that doesn't go to two-a-days. That's just waking up. I woke up like this.
yeah,
Yo, he's yoking up the 700s. That's a warm up. Oh my God. Nah, good exercise.
Yeah.
That was a good bird today. I can
You
go
wanna
home.
do
Yeah,
8?
that's what they doing to
yeah.
the highest recorded one we've ever done as a people, as a being. They're yoking that. Oh God.
Now, now, let me propose something to you. So I think it's funny that we're like, yeah, 100 guys, 100 of our best, we'll take it. But like, what if, like Nell said, what if this gorilla's locked in? What if this gorilla like was trained by like the Stick or Master Splinter or 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 John Wick? This was John Wick's gorilla. Like, can we like it's gonna be a blowout, right?
What I go
Please, Shannon, please,
Well, I'll
please,
just say
please.
this comment. What I envision in my head is if that gorilla is locked in, it is the show Invincible. Like how gory Invincible gets. Like that's what I imagine. There are heads ripped off, blood. Before the blood can fall, he's ripping somebody else apart. That's what I envision.
I this is what I'll say. I I've seen Jason take on an entire campsite. I've seen Michael Myers take on an entire town. Jaws killed 6 people before he ended up getting exploded. All right. I've seen those things. A locked in gorilla that's trained for this. I'm gonna have to go around Gorilla in five. Gorilla in
Dog,
five.
I saw Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The gorilla took
Oh,
out a helicopter by
do you know
himself.
why this is a thing? No, I have to say this. Do you know why this entire conversation happened? I can tell you the origin of what goes through people's mind to actually entertain this conversation. And that answer is that Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes movie. And one scene and one scene alone, when Michael Clark Duncan goes, bow your head.
Oh, your
that has set off an impression in people's mind on
take
like
that. I could take that.
or like I cannot take that. I will lose against Michael Clark Duncan. Like I will not go silverback gorilla. I am going to lose that fight.
Let's be fair. 100 guys against Michael Clark Duncan. We're gonna lose some dudes too.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what's going through people's mind when they hear this 100 men versus girl. Bow your head. They're like, oh yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Let me.
Mark.
Before we leave the topic, let me propose something to you guys. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's do 100 gorilla-sized humans versus 10 human-sized gorillas.
Say it one more time, please.
100 human-sized gorillas. So we're all the same. We're just big butts and doing this, right? So 100 human-sized gorillas versus 10 gorilla-sized humans. Or no, 10 human-sized gorillas. No, I think I messed that up. I'm sorry. 100 gorilla-sized humans versus 10 human-sized gorillas.
Oh yeah, the humans. That ain't even a real question.
But the strength
100
doesn't change. They're just the size of a gorilla. All the stats, like
that's all you need. You just need a little more confidence. All right. You like half of this is confidence. All right. The intimidation factor is so real when you're looking across and you see a silverback gorilla. But if you just a little bit, if you're looking down on something, like it just make you feel like maybe I can take it. You know what I'm saying? That's because we all think we can take dogs. You can't take a dog, a locked in dog. A locked in dog. That's actually a fight. And sometimes this dog, when they stand up, they actually taller than you. But it's just it's just because you can look down. And you're like, you know what? I'm not going to take it. I think that's what will help.
I think you're on something. I think there's something about being human where like we're so far removed from our ancestors and like what they had to go to. Like mofos used to have to run away from saber-toothed tigers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like nowadays, the idea of an animal coming up in your house and like murking you, it's insulting, right? So I think we just can't. But it's like, no, they were here first. They were here first. They could easily, if animals were organized, humans wouldn't last a week.
For real.
At best.
You've seen the stuff that happens to us, like I mean, I know I was talking about the little ailments we have, but let's say like, yes, you have to fight a gorilla, a saber-toothed tiger like today. I feel like times where a little bit of dirt gets in your eye and it's just like, dang, that has ruined my whole day. I can't see.
Shannon,
see.
Gosh, I have slept on the wrong side and been disqualified for a whole week. Yeah. It's like I can't do anything. This is just life now. I'm going to live like this for the rest of it.
So let alone elbow the wrong way.
Yeah.
Bump your elbow the wrong way.
Yeah.
Your arm is jankety for a good 10 minutes.
Trip and land on your ankle the wrong way. That's it. You're done. That's all she wrote.
You're done for a week. You know what I'm saying? And if the animals were locked in, we've actually seen this before. It's the entire Rise of the Planet of the Apes series.
It's not good.
Like it don't end well for us, you know. So
with that being said, I think we all agree, humans. But last thing, I love how like we have to go. We're like 100 guys and we'll take them. Yeah, like that's a hundred anything against one anything should be like in the odds of that 100, right? You're like 100 rats against one gorilla. There might be one rat left, but like I would think maybe 100 rats could take the gorilla, and we're just so confident. Like, yeah, the humans would take him out. It's like it's one gorilla, dog. If it was two gorillas, we're like, oh, we got to recalculate this. We got.
Uh, the question is how many of us will survive? That is honest to goodness what this conversation is all about. Y'all just dirty mind. Look, let me talk to society real quick. Y'all just dirty minded. Y'all just trying to do the math of how many of us are going to get killed by this focused, militant, gorilla grodd motherfucker, like just trying to like come after us. And that's all y'all are fixated on versus the clear fact that is humans would win. It's a shame. It's a shame.
All right. So that being said, humans in five. All right, fellas, let's get to why we're here. Sinners. Ryan Coogler. This is what his fifth movie. The man is 38 years old, and he is. I think he is
I believe $1.7 billion have been
by him.
earned gross by his movies. Five
I
movies.
think he is well on his way to being a Christopher Nolan type director, and what I mean by that is a studio will just give him money. Like Nolan has said, he feels like he is like it is his responsibility to make big movies because he still has the ability to do that. And I think Ryan Coogler is way on his way to doing that, where a studio is like, here's $150 million, go make us something. And I love it. I love it, man. I heard an interesting thing before we get into Sinners. I wish I
Mm.
remembered the dude's handle. It was on Instagram. He said Jordan Peele movies make white people feel guilty for being white, and Ryan Coogler movies make white people want to be black. I was like, damn. And when you think about it, you're like, he's 100% right.
Once you start laughing, you can't stop because you're playing the
You're
movies
like,
in your
yeah,
head.
it all
You're like,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yep. Correct, correct. Oh man, that's funny.
How do y'all want to, dog? There's so much to talk about. I have so much. I'm sure y'all have so much to talk about. How do you want to handle this? How do you want to?
I think maybe it'll be cool to just talk about like the concept and like the cinematography, like the stuff behind the movie
Yeah,
for a bit. Because I just found like I had to tell myself out loud that Michael B. Jordan doesn't have a twin multiple times. I had to I'm like, this is a work of art. Like
yeah,
this is CGI and filming. This is not just two Michael B. Jordans multiple times.
yeah.
Up until the end of the movie, I was still like, man, he gonna kill his brother.
It,
Like
yeah.
the whole time. So
If
yeah,
if
it's impressive.
I don't want to use the word criticism, but like watching the movie, I was like, I don't know, I don't understand why Michael B. Jordan needs to be a twin in this movie. And then, fellas, I watched the movie and I was like, oh, he read the script and found out that he gets to have sex scenes with Wumi Masaku and Haley. It's like twins. You know what I'm saying? But no, no, no. I give.
I,
He's like, wait a minute. Why? Why another actor?
he's
Just
like, who else are you thinking? I can do it.
I
I
can
can
do
do
it.
it.
I can do
It's
that.
cheaper. It's cheap.
Yeah.
You know me well. Like, what? This will just take what an extra 10 days?
Ryan,
Come on,
come
man.
on, Ryan.
I can do that. I can do that.
And I'm
Yeah,
sure
let's
he
talk about
probably,
these scenes again.
Yeah, he saw
I'm sure
he saw who they cast. He's like originally they had like dog. It's gonna come out. They had like a whole nother actor, whole nother
he did
established like black actor, and then he saw the script. And he's like, nah, nah.
Nah, I got it. I got
I
it.
got all of it.
I'm,
But I will say,
Go ahead, Shay. Hold on. Go ahead, Shay.
Yeah, no, I'm just laughing because I'm like, yeah, he probably had Daniel Kaluuya or somebody that was like, okay, yes, you're gonna play his brother, or maybe it was even his cousin, and that's the thing. He was like, nope,
he's like,
nope, I got this.
you
Dan,
don't need all
Dan
that.
Kaluuya just sitting there like messed up, man.
You don't need all that. Nah.
Uh,
But I want to give major props to Michael B because not one time in this movie did I not know if I was looking at Stack or Smoke. And they feel like two different characters. Even their physicality feels they're twins, but they physically feel like two different people. So I give them major props for that. Like not at
Yeah.
one time I was like, is this Stack? Is that Smoke? Completely like really, really good. Really believable like twinism.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 You see the part where they were mentioning. I think it took at least about 17 takes for them just to do the simple part where they're like leaning on the car and he passes the cigarette to his brother. It took them about 17 takes to do that because the simple thing in Hollywood they would do if you did play like a twin or version of yourself or clone, it would
Yeah.
be like, okay, we're going to shoot you doing the stuff and then maybe have a stand in so it
They
looks
use the
like you
Jackie
landed.
Chan split
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. But they said for
Hmm.
this one, they used some type of robotic thing that they had to have precise movements. And so they were saying, yeah, like something as simple as when he handed his brother the cigarette, it took about 17 takes to do that because it had to
That's
be
awesome.
exact. So it would, and I'm like, hey, it paid off. It paid off.
Yeah,
Yo,
it's definitely a
that's some
flex for
James
him as an
Cameron stuff
actor.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, James Cameron.
Yeah, that's some James Cameron stuff right there.
I still
I don't
give him.
know. We gotta watch Ryan Coogler out now.
Hey,
That's
I think two things. I think it's a flex for both of them as a director and as a actor. But I still stand by. He read the script and he was like, "These are the actresses, and they both have sex scenes. I could do it. I could just
he's
put me."
he was like, I have a proposition for you, Brian. let's
Take a seat.
let's
Take a
do
seat.
something groundbreaking. I can do it
I
all.
can do it all. And
But Daniel's
Ryan,
coming. Daniel's flying. He loved the
yeah,
script.
Ryan was
Like
like, "Hey, yo, Daniel's, he's on the plane, man. He gonna be here
he's
in
on the
30
way
minutes."
here. He's like,
Nah,
tell him to go
nah.
home.
He tell him go home.
I can do it.
That's so curious.
That's exactly what happened. That is hilarious.
The other, I was just going to throw this in, and sorry if I
No,
didn't
no,
know
go ahead.
if you want to hit on this part or not, but as we are talking about stuff that's sort of, I guess, behind the scenes, it's just so special about this, the contract.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
he,
Hmm.
I think in 25 years, he's going to retain and get
yeah.
all the rights back to it. So he'll get residuals, all that type of stuff. And that's something that maybe like a Martin Scorsese or somebody could do
Well,
that nobody ever. Go
I'm
ahead.
glad you brought that up, Shannon, because there was a lot of scrutiny from press. So before the movie even came out, Variety wrote like an article was like, "Oh, for this to make its budget back, it has to make this much money." Well, why? Like, we haven't even seen the movie. Why are you like already like saying? And so there was a lot of like criticism where people were like, and this is like the establishment Hollywood is saying
Mm.
like, "Oh, Ryan's going to retain something that he didn't pay for," right? And a lot of criticism on this deal. This deal has been done before. Quentin Tarantino did this deal with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think his deal was 30 years, and there was no criticism. It was like,
No
oh,
one
what a
even knew
great,
about it.
yeah, no one even knew about it. But like, let's call a spade a spade. When this black man tries to
Young black
retain
man.
something he created, oh,
Hmm.
it's a problem. Oh, look, we just saw Dion's son get humbled.
Mhm.
Oh, you should know
Hmm.
your place. And it's like, damn, even in 2025, y'all
Mhm.
can't even,
Hmm.
y'all not even good at hiding it. You can't even hide it. It'd be one thing if y'all were slick with it, like, oh, well, due to like statistical blah, 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 it's like, oh, well, he thinks he deserves this. It's like, damn, at least try to hide it better.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
Nah, they ain't hiding it no more. They
Mhm.
don't have any reason to
There's
hide it
no
anymore.
reason to hide
But
it.
I'm actually surprised we ain't gotten a lot of hate for Haley being in this movie. You want to keep it a buck.
Mhm.
Dog,
I'm surprised it ain't cool that we just kind of had all her. She was comfortable. She was comfortable in the movie, y'all.
you was
She felt right at home.
right, dog. There's been so many memes about her, and people are like, "Yo, someone check on her husband, man."
That
Like, yo, make
look,
sure
look.
bruh's okay, because if she gets invited
He
to one more
is
cookout, she ain't coming back home.
he is fine. Look, this man lives in Buffalo, and he ended up with Haley Steinfeld. That man is fine. He probably hang out with the same folks that Michael B. Jordan hangs out with. If you want to be honest, you know what I'm saying?
Uh,
He probably only hang out with the people on the team. Like everybody in his circle probably melanated. I don't
Yeah,
care where he went to college. That man probably only hangs out. I think he went to Wyoming.
yeah.
So I'm sure he was like, yo, I am ready to
So
be around some folks that don't look like me.
interesting thing, her character Mary is a 1/8 black, and she in real life is 1/8 black.
Yep.
mhm.
Yep.
And everyone's like, I knew there was a reason why I liked you.
Hmm.
And and
Hmm.
she let it fly in this movie. Like whatever that 1/8 part black is, like the line that she said to little Sammy when she was like, little boy, if you don't get the F out of my face, like I was like, that
Yes.
was that was just like the
Just coming up
ancestors.
out of me.
The ancestor just
Come on now.
Yeah, because I was like, that was not a I tried this or whatever. It was just like I just spoke from the soul that time. And
Yeah.
like
Well, it's interesting. The love
it was
interest
pure.
yeah,
Pure.
pure. The love interests match each other. So like Mary and Stack, they both talk very brash. Like I think, when we first see her, she's like, "Well, you forgot you had your tongue in my cool Stack." I was like, "God." And what's his
In the middle of the train
yeah,
station.
who's Preacher Boy's real name? And
Sammy.
Sammy's like, "Oh my Lord, I am a child."
Put your tongue on my coos. He said, yeah. That's me harder than I did before. Yo, okay, we gotta talk about it.
yeah.
This movie is freaky as hell.
Oh,
This
yo,
movie is
yes.
freak. I don't know why society just when they see vampires, horniness.
Sex.
Like, why is that the
I
combination?
yo, no, I
Anything
don't
vampire
know
related.
why, but it's
Mhm.
just like if you got teeth, if you got fangs and you can't come out in the sun, sex. I
It
guess it's
immediately goes there.
because you're always in the dark. Maybe I
You
don't
mainly go
biting.
for the neck,
You're always
like
going for the
neck.
neck, and it's
Yeah.
in dark.
Blood. There's an
I
insertion. Like, I don't know. There's it's
I
always horniness around vampires. I ain't never really
I
never really understood it.
I will say I welcomed it because I think movies have gotten so milk toast lately. Do y'all remember? I remember as a kid, like when we were young, we talked about this. We watched movies we had no business watching, and so like when the
Absolutely.
love scenes came, like oh boring. But it's like movies back in the day, they got it in, and it's
They
like
they
some
they spent significant time.
yes, yes,
Honestly, you need to see how they
soft
make love.
core saxophone.
It is important to this story that you see how they love on each other, how they
It is
lust for
important
each other.
that Tom Cruise puts these olives in her belly button. It needs to happen. It is art.
The entire fridge, yes! Cinema!
Art.
Yo.
Then
Oh, God.
somewhere like movies just lost it. They're like, no, 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 they can't touch, they can't kiss. No relationships. So I think it was a welcome refresher to see like, yo, people get it on in movies. That's okay. We all grown here. We all know what we're here to do.
This was
It's okay.
significant for the plot, though. Like it did help explain their relationships, and of course, that's how this man becomes a vampire. Getting it in with the white girl in the closet. Like, of course, like the movie wrote itself at that point. I was like, yes, this of course how it happens. So I don't know, like that was real. I felt like it was important for the plot, like those actual scenes. But I don't change the fact that I ain't tripping. Horniness and vampires are locked in like
Yeah.
this.
No,
Every
no
movie,
other movie monster. People are like, oh, zombies, werewolves, but vampires, they're just like, oh yeah, would you light a candle? And even vampires are smooth. Like, oh, ooh, ooh, let me suck your blood, blah blah blah. Look, Vampire in Brooklyn. That's just Eddie
that's
Murphy just trying to
immediately
hook
where
up.
my mind went.
Yeah.
It's just
Immediately where
Vampire
my
Eddie
mind
Murphy
went.
trying to hook up with women. That's all that movie is.
That's the movie. That's the movie. It's not that different than How to Be a Player. It's not that different. They're very similar
He's just
movies.
a
If you want to be
vampire.
a,
That's the
yeah,
only difference in
that's
the
it.
movie.
He's just had a
That's
600-year head start. Like that's really what
that's
it is. Just a 600-year head start.
facts.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm pretty sure we all feel the same way. Love the movie. Love like this is art. You know what I'm saying? Just like the colors, the establishing shots, like even the build up to the vampires. It's just I was having a good time. I was like, this movie could easily just been a period piece crime drama, and it probably still would have been really good. You know?
We didn't even need the vampires. That's how good this movie was.
It's like
We didn't need the vampires.
it's
Like,
almost like they were filming the movie, and then Ryan Coogler was like, "Hey, yo, I put some vampires in there," and I was like, "What? What
no, no, you
vampires?
see what I'm saying? What if you have
Well,
vampires
you
in
have
there?
vampires right here."
Right here. They came because of the music. Music Preacher Boy playing.
And
I
I was like,
bet that
"What?
won't be dope.
Well, we're supposed to have a shootout at the end with the KKK. Yeah, no, we can still do
Keep
that,
it
but
in.
we
Keep
get
that
the
in.
vampires in there.
But that whole third act, vampires.
Believe it, get them in there."
They're like, I guess, Michael, are you okay with this?
Okay,
Whatever he
let's.
says.
We gotta find vampire fangs.
Then they all sit and they watch it and they're like, he did it
He
again.
did it again, the son of a
He
bitch.
It's so real.
did
um,
it again.
no, but just like the beginning opening scenes with like Preacher Boy. One thing I love about movies, fellas, is when you get to know characters through action and just establishment of the scenes. So I'm sorry, what's Preacher Boy's name again?
Little
Sammy.
Sammy.
Sammy. We open up and Sammy is already filled his he's a crop sharer, and then just the history, man, there's so much history. Like Mississippi, where I was born, you know what I'm saying? Biloxi. I don't know if this movie takes place in Biloxi, but that's where I was born. The crop sharing and just like this movie, like it takes place in the 1930s, not that far, like one generation away from slavery, right? And crop sharing is basically legal. Well, slavery was legal, but you know what I'm saying. It was just like another
Yeah.
step with slavery.
And sharecropping lasted like a long
A
time.
long
Yeah.
time. But just Sammy already having his bag full when everyone else comes to the field and just shows like he's like, no, I gotta go play tonight. I just loved all that, man. It was just like such a good
Hmm.
setup and build up as the characters. All the characters had great introductions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also loved how I feel like this can be very hit or miss with movies, but this one did a great job when basically the movie starts at like it starts at this point, and then you basically do the rest of the movie to say, oh, this is how I got here. Like
Yeah.
someone sort of you're probably wondering how I got here, whatever.
That's
But
me
like
with the claw on my face and my
yeah,
dad.
yeah, yeah. And so like some movies do that and it's sort of like, oh, that's how it's starting. Okay. And it sort of gives some stuff away because it's like, well, obviously you're not gonna die because you're here or
Yeah.
but this one just with that because because it was so crazy where you're like, okay, he's coming into church cut up. His dad isn't scared. His dad is just like, come
Can,
to
can we
Jesus
talk
and
about his dad for a second?
yes,
Because
yeah.
like this man, like I'm sure y'all wondered this too. Your son, it's Sunday morning. Your son
Mhm.
is supposed to come back. Church has started. and you see your child walk through the door. Hey, I have never seen an animal except for
Looks like a
maybe a
gorilla
grizzly
wound
bear
to me. You've been
has
fighting gorillas,
scratched
boy.
your child's face and it's fresh.
Fresh,
He's
yeah.
walking around with the coolest guitar that anyone has ever seen in the States. And you only see like a third part of it, and you know that's like your child's favorite thing. And he's walking up towards you, and your thought is to continue the sermon
Come up to your son.
and
Nah, nah.
and to treat your child like an altar call.
I'm
Like
like,
what?
church is over. Son, pack your bags. Well, tell me the story on the way to New York.
On the
Like,
way out. And my first question, is it still alive? Does it know where you're heading? Do we need to tell your mother and sisters? Okay, after that, we are booking it. Get
yeah,
out of here.
yeah.
Somewhere
Um,
north of Dix.
and so the movie opens with this dialogue about how music trans oh my God, I can't talk. What's the word I'm looking for?
Transcends.
Transcends time
Transcends, yeah.
and space, and music's very heavy, and Sammy's the artist or the musician, and the vampires are connected to that. And I mean, just fellas, there's so much lore and history locked into this movie. Like, okay, let's start with like when Stack and Smoke come back to the scene. They're coming back to Mississippi. They used to work for Al Capone. Like this is it's just so cool. They came back to Mississippi, and Sammy's like, "Oh, I want to go to the north, and I want to be up there in Chicago." And they're like, "Nah, man." He's like, "Well, there's no Jim Crow up there." He's like, "It don't matter. Like it like at least down here we know the devil we're dealing with." It's
Mhm.
just it's just so much history. It's like, yeah, there was like the great, I don't know, migration
Yeah.
to like to the north. And then it's like when we got to the north, they were like, well, we don't want you here either. We don't believe in Jim Crow, but like we don't want you here. So it's
Mhm.
just there's so many levels to this movie. And even like when Stack takes Sammy to the market and we meet the two Chinese characters, it's Grace and I forget what the husband's name is.
Was it Bo? Maybe.
Was it Bo?
I feel like Bo was in my head for some reason. I don't know.
But even like that, I did like I went and did research. Yeah, there's this whole lineage of like Chinese Southerners that live on the like the west of Mississippi who went there because whites wouldn't sell to blacks. So they're like, well, we'll make shops. And then the first opening scene, we see the daughter. It's this beautiful one take where she stacks like, "I need your mom," or Bo or whatever is like, "Go get your mom," and she leaves the black side of town and is able to walk and navigate and finds her mom on the white side of town because they are able to like transition the races. I was just like, man, like Ryan Coogler like is just a genius on so many levels when it comes to things like that. Like
Yeah.
I was like in the movie theater, like, is anyone else seeing this? Like, do y'all? And then there's so much tied history with, I feel like, Asian Americans and Black Americans, and there's like there could
Mhm.
be like unification and like there's commerce, but there's also this like underlying hostility sometimes. We saw him like do the right thing, and as like
Mhm.
to see that in this period, and it's also real because it really happened. I was blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how it, like you're saying, how it threw that in because I mean, in so many history books and just things like that, I feel like even though these things happen in the same timeline, it feels like they like segregate the timelines where it's like, okay, like sure, we're talking about the 30s and this and that, but we're more so talking about black people during this time and like right after slavery and going into Reconstruction later and this and that. And then and then we're talking about, maybe Chinese Americans. Now we're talking about when they built the railroads and this and that. And so it all feels so separate. Like you're saying, even though we were like together during those times. And even what's tough too, you mentioned the transition from like one side of town to the other. What really jumped out too was like yes, they transition and could do that, but I feel like there was also probably this piece, just like even historically, where Chinese Americans didn't feel like they fully belonged in either place, though. Like
Hmm.
white
Yep.
people didn't fully accept them, black people didn't fully accept them. They could they could get along some with either, but there was still going to be like a I don't fully, not saying don't belong, but you know what I mean. But I don't fully feel like I am like my full self here.
It
So that was
just
like interesting.
it just shows how like really effing stupid racism is. It's just like you can't shop here because you're this. It's like why? Why? And another thing I love what he does in this movie, and it's also like, hello, racism also hurts white people. When we get the when we first see Remick, who is the vampire king, I guess, I don't know, and he goes to the house, he it's so interesting to me because Remick, I feel like, and we can get into him because I did a whole mental back dive on Remick. He sees their clan stuff and he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, we're all white." And they're
Mhm.
like, "Well, this white guy couldn't possibly be dangerous. Let him in." And
Mhm.
then when
Especially like if he's being chased by them,
yeah,
Mhm.
then he must be okay.
and then when the Native Americans, I think it's the Choctaw, I think that's what they're called. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. When they come to help, they're like, "Get out of here. We don't need and it's like your racism just put you in danger. Your racism made you vampires. And I just like love that. It's like, no, you just thought because this guy was white that it was all right and you let him in. It's just beautiful. The
Yo, the vampire couldn't even wait. Couldn't even have the decency to wait for for the Native Americans to go away. By the time she went back there, her husband was already
Yeah,
dead
yo,
and
no
about to
boy,
come back up.
no boy.
Mhm.
So that means as soon as she walked out of the room, he was like, "I."
Yeah. Which, yeah, you
Man was
said.
mad impatient.
Oh, I sure is hungry.
Woo. Ah. Anyways, he'll be coming around right now.
Yeah. So, hey,
Wow.
fellas, interesting thing. So I looked up because I started deep diving. The tribe, like again, I think it's called the Choctaw, that was chasing him. So there's a lot of so Remick is a Irish descendant, right? And we don't know how old Remick is. I think he alludes to being older than like Christianity at one point.
Wow.
I,
Really?
I, I think
I
when
didn't even
when
catch
when
that.
when Sammy starts saying the Lord's Prayer, he says some I forgot what it was, but he says something like, "Oh, I remember that when they brought
They
that to my land" or something like that. And I don't know, Shannon, do you know what I'm talking about? I think he like
yeah,
alludes to being older than Christianity.
yeah, and I was just saying the same thing you were saying. That's basically what he said. He said, "Yeah, I remember when they pushed that on me or brought that to us." And
Yeah,
he said something like, it was weird because again, he wasn't doing the piece of being like blatantly saying, "Oh, that's not going to help you. That's useless." Because I feel like in so many vampire movies, that's what they do. They're like, "Oh, the crucifix isn't going to help you here."
yeah,
He said something along the lines of, you know, if that brings you comfort, it brought me comfort. If
yeah,
that brings
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
comfort,
Hmm.
But
Yeah, so that man was there when they were expanding Christianity. That man was there when Apostle Paul was
he's old.
around the globe. That's like the third act of the New Testament. He was like, "Yeah, I was there. I saw that. I saw that get ready." Like, that's wild.
Did you guys hear about this guy? Like,
Is that how the
I
missions were?
I just love
When they first started, hey, I just heard about this guy.
a young Remick walking in.
He did some cool stuff a couple years ago.
Apparently, this new king was born. Apparently, he
What's his name?
fed.
Well, he got a few names. He got a few names.
He made fish and bread come out of nowhere.
Oh my goodness.
but so the Choctaw, apparently, dog. So there's a lot of ties between like the Irish and Native Americans. So apparently, during the Trail of Tears, or after the Trail of Tears, the a bunch of Native American tribes sent money to Ireland during the famine, during the Irish the potato famine, right? And so apparently, and it's like what we're taught in school, what is deemed what we should know. There's this long history between Irish and Native Americans, and so I was like, dog, that yo, Coogler is a genius because it makes sense why this Native American group of vampire hunters would be hunting this Irish vampire because like maybe they were all in the same community. Maybe Remick killed or turned some people that they know. I was like, yo, that's
Yeah.
crazy. And for the record, I I'm not a I need a prequel guy. I definitely need at least a spinoff of them, the vampire hunters. Like they need if it's a graphic
They were
novel,
so cool. They were so
I
cool.
need something with those guys in it. Like something. That was so dope.
Yeah. And it was so true to life because it's like because of what happened, they were like, hey, we're trying to save you with this and that. They did their part. They were like, look, we asked them twice. They said no. It's about to turn
The
dark.
one dude was like, hey. He was like, hey.
And we didn't see them anymore. It was like, look, we tried to offer
They
help.
exit
It's
the
a button.
movie. They're like stage. All right, see you, movie.
Yeah.
Dog, that is what professionals do. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are great at their job. They are professionals. When they're like, yo, time's up. It's time to go home. That's what like a seasoned cop for
Yeah.
25 years does. So they are professional vampire hunters. I would
We
love to see that
tried.
show.
We
It would be
tried.
19, whatever it is, 1930s
30. Yeah.
cops with Native American vampire hunters. Sign me up. Just give me 5 episodes
Yo,
on HBO.
dude hit
I'm there.
dude hit the Michelangelo. He's like, pizza dude's got 30 seconds. He's like, we're getting the hell out of here. But
Mhm.
yo, quick little detail. Did y'all notice when they came to the house, when they let Remick in, did y'all see the vultures circling the house?
No. Wow.
Dog, so when they let Remick in and then the Native Americans show up, if you look up, there's vultures circling the house because he's dead.
Oh.
So they know the vampire hunters know he's in
Yeah,
there.
they
And
know,
they're just like,
and like, it's like they know, and they like we can't tell these people he's a vampire because they're gonna think we're crazy, and
Mhm.
they're racist. So we gotta play this game where it's like, ma'am, it would sure help
and
us
she
out
got
a
that
lot.
shotgun in her face.
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
man,
so
I ain't
good,
about it. I
man.
ain't finna do all this.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll deal with this tomorrow.
Well, we tried our best.
Mhm.
But I mean,
I just want to throw this in there, just the line or just what y'all said. I know we're gonna hit on these some more throughout the episode, but yo, just how true to life is this? Because again, I say true to life because on the surface, yes, it's wild. We're talking vampires and magic and all this type of stuff, but on the I guess on the more micro level, I'm like, this is the stuff that we all do every day. Like you're saying, we know there's a problem, and you're thinking even when you're depending on wherever you work, depending on your race, your whatever the demographic is, you're like, I'm talking to these people. I know there's a problem here.
yeah,
I can't just say it because they're going to be like,
yeah,
oh, how
yeah,
do you know this? Or this guy's talking out the side of his neck. So you got to do all these mental gymnastics to try to fix it and get them to basically to get them to listen to you because you can't just straight up say it.
yeah.
So anyway,
No, that's great, Shannon. I
Yep.
was I was talking to my wife, and we had this discussion how, like, unfortunately, like black people and other minorities, it's like you have to really be ready to play the race card. And I even hate to say playing the race card because it's like you only have so many opportunities and situations where like you will be believed. And it's
Mhm.
like we all know what's going on here. We all know what's happening. Like this is racism. They know, they're like, dog, I know there's a vampire in your house. Like, just send him outside and everyone can go home. The sun's still out. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out, but they're like, oh, get it. You know what I'm saying? But they can't outwardly say it. They have to play this stupid game because of her racism. And
Mhm.
it's
And her
like, yeah.
shotgun.
And the shotgun.
Her shotgun in her point that she's pointing in our face. It's like, all
Yeah,
right,
they gotta play
yeah,
this
we'll
stupid
talk about
game,
this.
but we all know what's going on. It's like you, and it's like they know. It's like you know when you saw him, this dude was like burning up, and you knew something wasn't right. But like because I'm a different color or a different ethnicity, like you're just gonna take his side, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it happens today. That's what it is.
In the
Yeah,
US.
man. Literally.
They're only in America, but not only in America.
Yeah,
hmm
I
hmm
so we talked about this, and I'll bring it up. Miss I think I pronounced her name Wumi Masaku.
We'll go
Great
with that.
performance.
We'll go with
Great
that.
performance.
Amazing actress.
Amazing actress. When I saw this movie and I sat back and reflected, saw her performance, I was like, Mark, you gotta type. And you gotta type and you married it. I was like, whoa, boy. I was like, ooh, smoke. Smoke picked the right one, baby.
After that scene, you're like, I get why Smoke came back.
I get why
She
smoke.
said, she said, your body remembers me.
Mm.
I ain't never heard that before.
And,
She
and
said,
wait,
your body remembers me.
and
What?
didn't she say it in another language, if I'm not mistaken?
Oh, she was talking something. Yeah, she
Yeah,
was
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
something before
yeah. She did
that,
say it. So
whispering it in his ear.
that's an
yeah,
extra little sprinkle on top. That's like said in
yeah.
another
I love her character, Annie. I think that's such a great character. She represents like keeping the tradition. When we first see her, the kids are coming to her. She's like giving them like a remedy or something, but they don't even pay with like real money. So she's like using this like neighborhood currency and just I don't know, man. I love the character. She was just amazing in this movie.
Agreed. Agreed.
uh,
That
I,
like, oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that part really quick. So two things happened there. I was like, you know how something happens and just later in life it hits you like, yo, this is what. So my dad would have this saying like whenever I would go out somewhere, obviously your normal stuff, be safe, this and that. But he would always say like, all right, don't take no wooden nickels. Don't take no wooden.
Yes,
Yeah,
Shannon. Yes, I
yeah.
work with a guy who would say that all the time. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. And I remember I would ask him and so I think he or my mom, they just said it sort of simply because I was like younger then. It would just be like, oh, basically like don't let anybody fool you and this and that. But I was like, that's just a weird thing to say. And so I'm like, there was a deeper thing to that, and especially as I factor in my mom and dad's age, where we're from, and I'm like, it was really a thing off of this, where like at least back then they were like during slavery, sharecropping or whatnot, people were paid and maybe it was wooden nickels, maybe it was some type of, but not a US currency. It was something that you could only use on that plantation. And so
That's wild.
so therefore, so therefore it was like, oh yeah, you're being paid, but then you see this oppressive force, your slave owner or whoever if you're a sharecropper, whoever your person is, you're now any wealth, quote unquote, that you accumulate, it can only be used there. So therefore, you
Yeah,
haven't accumulated any wealth,
yeah.
and you're still dependent on your oppressor. I was like, whoa.
It's
Wow.
people. We always go through like, oh, slavery was so long ago. Get over it. And this movie shows like no, like I said, this movie takes place in the 1930s. That's like one generation removed from slavery. I my grandfather told me that I think his father was one of the first black men to vote in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a long time. It's not a long time. And like we think we're so far removed from these things, but we're really not. It's like right around the corner of history, you know.
Mm.
But
And then the hope is that look how much has changed in a
yeah.
short amount of time, which can show how much can still change
Hmm.
if, people were, well, I'll leave it there. I will leave it there. But
Do y'all want to get to like the juke? What is it? The juke joint, juke spot. Oh, real quick, can I
yeah,
just tell y'all when I knew I was like this? We in for a movie. It's going to be a good time. When is it how do you put it? Is it Delroy Lindo?
yes,
Mhm.
When
sir.
he showed
Yep.
up, I was like, we got ourselves a movie.
It's gonna be fun.
I was like,
They're gonna be
I
fun.
was
Because you know
I
what he's gonna
sat
do?
back.
He gonna act his tail off. He
Mhm.
gonna do some random dancing.
I was
You
like,
know those
oh,
two things gonna happen when he in your movie.
this man's in a vampire movie. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Correct. Correct. Yo, and when he was doing the like when he the car ride, when he was like telling that really sad story,
Yes,
and then he
yes.
literally showed it turning into the blues,
Mm,
that was phenomenal.
yeah.
That was dope.
Music's a big thing in this movie. And I if I have any criticisms, I don't know what the message is at the end. Like, is it that secular music is bad? Like I don't really
I
know. And I think it doesn't really
That
need a
preacher
message.
boy was cold. That's what the message. Preacher boy, it wasn't no, oh, this was a good night for preacher boy. Nah,
Yeah.
that man is gifted. A vampire was all the way in the white side of town. Her preacher boy, it was like, nah, 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 nah. We gotta check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, it's worth having to go
But see,
free V20. Like, do
even then,
something dope
Nels,
over there.
like I really that's why I love the character of Remick because I think like Shannon we were saying he predates Christianity. He's seen all he even warns them, right? He kind of like low-key warns them about what's coming in the morning. He's like, they're not
Mm.
gonna let you keep this, they're not gonna let you have anything. It's so funny because the vampires in this movie are very all lives matter.
Yeah.
And it's like do they have a point? You know what I'm saying?
You're like,
Yeah.
dang.
Dang, I don't know. Maybe they got a point.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, but
like
at the end of the day, they're gonna bite me and kill me. I gotta remember the facts. They're gonna bite and try to kill me.
my theory is the whole reason this movie even happens is because Remick wants Sammy. Because like they said, some musicians can transition time and space, and Remick wants to go back to that where he came from, and Sammy's the only way. I feel like if even they had to sit back and wait for everyone to leave, they would have followed Sammy home and figured out where he was. He was the target
Yeah.
because he had the skill. And then fellas, can we just talk about the juke joint and just talk about the scene that when Sammy finally plays? Like, this is why we go to movies. This is why movies exist for scenes like this. I was I'll let y'all take it away, but just I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It if this movie wins any awards, when they talk about the movie, that's the scene that they're going to show.
Hmm.
That was cinema. That
Yeah,
was like a new thing.
Yeah.
And the raw emotion, I was not expecting to feel that kind of emotion for a scene in a horror movie.
Mhm.
Like I wasn't like I felt like pride, I felt joy, I felt like a little bit of sadness because it's just like, oh wow, we are literally that connected. And
Mhm.
music has that way to show that we are that connected. It was powerful.
yeah,
Like honestly,
yeah.
it was powerful.
And the scene we're talking about is when Sammy's playing. and everyone's into it, and we start and we see like African dancers, and then we see like people popping and locking. We see like I guess like a Rick James kind of stand-in, and it just
Oh, it
goes
was a
all
Bootsy Collins.
yeah. It just
Yeah, it
goes
was Bootsy Collins.
all
Yep.
around. And when Grace and her husband start dancing, we see like the Chinese dancers. And then when Stack and Mary dance, we see the like it looks like she's biracial ballerina.
Hmm.
And then we see like the dudes like sea walking, and
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, what? And
Mhm.
the interesting thing is the music when it's being played. I don't know if y'all notice every time it like moves to like a different kind of like generation, it's like it's almost gonna lose its integrity. It's like almost gonna like, and then like it comes back together. I was like, yo, Ryan Coogler is a genius, dog.
Hmm.
Like, and
Yeah.
then fellas, they literally, I was like, this is when I was like, I clapped, and no one else in the movie theater clapped. They literally lit the roof on fire.
Hmm.
They literally the roof, the roof,
They
the
did.
roof is on fire. I was like, yo. I was like, this man is a genius, dog.
Yes. Um, love that.
Like,
Love that.
come on.
Noticed it. Yeah, the roof
Like,
was on fire.
literal
Yeah.
roof is on fire. I was like,
Well, yeah. No, it's like that
Oh my
scene.
God.
That scene had me, all the things y'all said, just feeling that connection among all of that, and to the point where it's like I know sometimes people joke like, I don't know, like black music or white music or this music or whatever, but like we see that sort of connected piece where like for a second, I mean, even though it was comedy, I think of the Dave Chappelle skit from y'all remember like the skit from the Chappelle show where he was like doing this experiment and he was like, we're at like a barbershop or whatever, and we're gonna play like drums and see how people react. And they're like at a black barbershop.
Yep.
People are freestyling, they're going at it. And he was like, okay, now we're gonna play. It was like John Mayer
it was
playing
John
something.
Mayer guitar.
Yeah. They were like, man, get the F out of here.
Yeah. Yep.
But it is interesting because I feel like within us there is this piece of if we're hearing maybe this instrument, this type of thing, sometimes you feel something. And sometimes we're like, oh yeah, that person's saying so well, I felt something, but it may be something even deeper than that. It's like this is a something from the ancestors, from the past, from whatever. But like I feel something when I hear this.
I think a clear sign of that is how Afrobeats popularity is growing in the US.
Mhm.
Because half those songs aren't in English, or maybe three words aren't English, but everybody knows what the song is about, has an emotional connection to it, and can vibe to it. Like it's like a clear sign of showing there's some connection just with the power of music versus having to like truly understand what's going on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And it also made me think, and maybe this might be a discussion another day to think on it, but I'm like, who are those people throughout time that we would say, you know what? I think that
That
person
was
could have
Sammy.
been that. I was because I was like,
That's a good question.
because I'm like, yeah, when it came to playing the guitar, I was like, okay, could that have been Jimi Hendrix, Bootsy Collins? Were they that person, when it came to, once we get
That
into the mode and it's like, okay, MC, rapping,
Yeah. And Shannon,
that
you
had
know
been Tupac,
what
but
you're saying is the beautiful thing about this. I use the word this franchise. I think music is the underlying connector in all this, and it's like, dog, I would love to see a movie where like Prince does a concert and then a vampire wants to like bite him, or vampires want Michael Jackson, or Kendrick Lamar just did Not Like Us at the Super Bowl and vampire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Irish Vampire.
and
Oh,
then
Kendrick,
Drake.
that was very good.
No, Drake. And then Drake bars his house up for vampires, and none of the vampires want Trina. He's like, they're
I don't know.
coming for
Is
me.
it
They're like, no,
Stacy? Is
is
it
this Daisy? Hey,
Gacy? Is
is this Daisy?
it?
What the fuck? Hey, I'm not gonna. The vampires would love that joint.
They love
Baby
that song.
girl, Rhythmic. Baby girl, let me see you dance. Let me see you twerk. You know how they're all outside dancing?
they were like, do I? Yeah, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him.
Baby girl.
So I think Michael
Oh man.
Jackson. I think what's his name? Rashida Jones' dad, Quincy Jones,
Yeah, Quincy Jones.
Prince, Bootsy Collins, absolutely, James Brown, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think they all would have. A vampire would have tried to come after all of them.
Yeah.
Whitney.
Hmm.
Whitney,
Yeah.
Whitney.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
love it, man. But like, so what did y'all, what did y'all like? Just this is what I love about the movie. I will say, I think the first half of this movie, you could have cut 20 minutes. You know, I think we could have got to where we were getting quicker. But when things ramped up, you know, when Mary, you know, well, first when Remick and the squad come up and they sing that song, I was I was cracking
Before
up. They're
I've
like,
been
we're
clean.
musicians.
Before I've been clean. Ain't nothing in the can of thing. Hey, they were getting it though. I was like, okay, a little jiggle.
Hmm.
No,
I was
I
like,
I,
okay.
I loved it because like, we're musicians ourselves. Ding, ding, ding. Like what when things started ramping up and we got into a vampire movie. What was y'all thoughts? And first, I've been telling people who haven't seen this movie who I'm like, if you haven't watched the trailer, I was like, don't just go into it blind because unfortunately you don't get to experience that anymore. And a lot of things that this movie's been tied to, one is Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know about you guys, I got to experience Dusk Till Dawn the way it should be, where I didn't know I was watching a vampire movie until it happened, and it was phenomenal. And I'm trying to help people to have that same experience with this movie.
Wow, I'm so jealous that you didn't know Dust Till Dawn was a vampire movie. I can't imagine. You were probably
Nope.
like, I'm enjoying myself right now. This seems lovely. I wonder where George Clooney will go with this.
Nels,
What's next?
let me ask you something.
And then
How
you're like,
did
oh, Selma Hayek. I like where this is going. This is great.
I was like, ooh, little young mom. I was like, oh, she's pretty.
Yeah. Oh, just got better. And then chaos ensues.
Now, how did you experience Dusk Till Dawn?
I knew it was a vampire
You knew
movie,
it.
but I didn't know when it was gonna become a
Okay.
vampire movie. So when it started, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. We are in vampire movie mode now. Because it didn't stop once it started. It just kept going.
Nada. I saw Dusk Till Dawn on TV, and I caught it right at the pretty much in the beginning, like at the convenience store scene
Hmm.
where and then George Clooney comes out, and I was like, what is this? What's going on? And I stayed with it all the way to, and Dusk Till Dawn lets it burn, dog. You
Yes, it
don't get
does.
to
Yes, it
vampire,
does.
it lets it burn for a while.
Yes, it does. It's,
And
it's a
just
while.
like you said, I was like, oh well, Shem, you're hot. Well, she's so hot. Well, she's got a snake. Whoa! And,
And then and you're like, oh.
I was like, oh God, vampires.
We are not prepared. No one had that in their mind. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
if I have any critiques, I wish this movie did the same. You know when Remick is introduced, that like he comes into the frame and he's all hot, he's smoking. I wish this movie did the same thing where like it's not a vampire movie until it has to be a vampire movie. You know, because like Dust Till Dawn, that is like it is not a vampire movie until the last second it has to be one, and it is phenomenal for it.
My only argument is I feel like folks are less patient than they were in the Dust Till Dawn days. You kind of need it. Like
That's
this
true.
was in today's day and age, the fact that we didn't really get vampire action up until like the last part of the movie, that's impressive
That's
for it
true.
to still like be entertaining and like, thought provoking up until the vampire action. It's probably the closest thing we'll get to it at this point now compared to, what we watched back in the day.
But like, what were y'all thinking when like Mary goes out? I'm gonna go talk to him. I'm like, oh God, like when we started ramping up and we got into it, what was y'all thoughts?
I was, give me a second, Shannon. I was cheering for that one out of her eighth blackness so hard. I was like, come on, Mary. Come on, Mary. Like, see the BS. Go right back into the
No,
juke
Mary,
joint. Come
you're
on,
leaning
Mary.
into
When
your
she sat down,
whiteness.
I was like, come on, Mary.
I'm just gonna go out
She
and talk
sat
to
down, I
him
was
in the
like, it's
dark.
over.
Just I'm just gonna go out in my tight skippy dress and my little pocketbook and talk to him. It's like
With your
that,
gun.
and then all the people in the juke joint like y'all know better. Y'all
Yeah.
cornbread like all right, see you later, Miss Mary. I'm like cornbread, you know better, dog. Don't let her go out there by herself.
They just think the power of her whiteness will prevail.
No,
Well, she
she'll
can do some stuff we
she'll
can't do. She'll be
she'll
all
make
right.
it out. She'll be all
Yep.
right. She's white. She'll be okay.
All logic goes out the
It's
window.
hey, it's Mississippi in the 30s, and she's white. She has no natural predators.
She'll
Nah.
be fine. She'll be fine.
She'll be absolutely fine.
What we gonna do with it? What we gonna do if we go with it? It's more of a liability if we go with
we'll,
it.
we'll be we'll be making it harder on her if we go with her. Just let her go.
Yo, that's so
It's a fact.
true.
Oh God.
But,
Oh my goodness.
but it's like when I think of some of the I don't know the themes, the evils, the stuff in the movie. Of course, yes, we have certain characters, but I'm like I think capitalism was one of the big bads in this movie. Just like capitalism itself, because that whole thing was okay. We trying to make a lot of money tonight.
Mm,
This is risky, but go out there. Well, no, I'm sorry. They weren't even telling her to. She was the one like, we need money, so I'm gonna go out there and talk to them, see what whatever. And they flashed that gold and was like, you can even
yeah.
have it, and that's what started the downward spiral.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
But
you're absolutely right, Shannon. It's like capitalism, if they didn't need the money, and it's interesting that you said that because when they pay with the wooden nickels and Stack and Annie are like, okay, cool, and Smoke's like, nah, we gotta make money, and they're like, no,
yeah.
this is how the community works, and if you want them to come back, they gotta feel welcomed, and it's and he's used to working in Chicago with Capone's money, and it's really really cool to see how capitalism like destroys communities,
But also like these vampires, as we know, they'll use anything to lure you. So that's
Yeah,
part of the reason vampire movies are always horny. But he'll use I mean, we saw this man use racism. We saw this man use capitalism. Like he'll use whatever he can to get inside your house and bite you.
yeah.
So I think that's just part of the concept of vampires. They're gonna use whatever you lusting for.
Before we get into the chaos and like right before Mary gets back, I just want to say I laughed so hard at when like it just shows how like unfulfilled sexually the women of Mississippi are. As Sammy is the first man in the state's history to perform oral sex on a woman. She's
She
just like, what?
did not know what she was experiencing. That was
You know
she
what
said.
I
She
thought
said,
of?
but I. She
are
said,
you
but I'm
finna put
right down there.
But
He
I,
said, I
oh, but
just want to taste
I've
you. I just said with that voice, I just want to taste you.
yeah.
Oh man, I was like, he
but
done got her now.
but Sam, yeah, I've been sweating like, yo, I just want to taste you up,
I just want to taste you.
dog. You know what it made me
Yeah.
think of?
And he just sang. He already sang after that, right? Yeah.
Let me just get a little
It was a
taste.
rap.
I was
A
like,
rap.
dog, the history books, 1933, Sammy at the juke joint performed the first, like, it made me think of that scene. I don't know why my brain went here, maybe because music was involved. It made me think of the scene of Back to the Future. He's like, hey, it's your brother, Marvin Berry. It's like, he's like, it's your sister. Well, get a load of this.
Carrie Lingus.
Remember that guy I taught you about? Well, get a load of this.
It's true.
Yo, that's a skip ahead, but y'all know at the end of the movie when he was talking with with Stack, he was like, "Yo, hey, before the vampires came, that was the best night of my life."
He's like, hey, dog.
I was having a ball,
I
yo.
was having a good old time. Hey, Stack's like, hey, I'm a vampire. I've been young, wild, and free for the past 60 years. That was the best night of my
That was the
life.
best night. They had a ball, yo.
They did.
Oh God, Carrie Linguist. It's your cousin, Carrie Linguist.
And it's just funny because I'm like, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not from the 30s, so you just think like if you are about to get it in, maybe the stuff you got to do, or maybe it was normal because everybody maybe smelled a little because you're sweaty.
Hey, no, Shannon, keep it a buck. Like, whenever I watch period pieces, I'm like, y'all all must stink. Like, let's you just had to dive in. Like, it must have
Yeah.
been because it was such a conservative society. It was worth the risk
Yeah.
because this is in the hot. There's no air condition. They are in a barn.
The whole selling point was we gonna what was it? We're gonna sweat till we stink. We gonna whatever we gonna drink. The part of the selling point was you will smell bad when you
You
leave.
smell bad when you leave.
They know the party is dope by how stanky it is. They like, oh yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
have a good
ooh.
time tonight.
They come to the door. Hey, cornbread, how much you get in here? And oh, let me in this.
It's rank in there. That's what's up.
It was like people that walk for miles, dance, sweat, and then
Oh,
gotta walk back.
Funky. That's
But-
where funky came
But fellas,
from.
let's
Funky.
keep it a buck. Is that different from us? Like when we're the last generation that partied. We left
Yes.
parties drenched in sweat.
Mhm.
And we were just
Absolutely.
lucky enough to have deodorant and body spray.
Yes. Yes.
We
We had
left-
emergency cologne in our cars. You know what I'm
Dog,
saying?
we would leave parties in the winter taking off stuff in 30-degree weather because we were just like, oh Lord, just like hot, just
Yeah.
drenched in sweat,
Drenched. Yes. Yes. And if we did it, the party wasn't even that dope.
It was
Like, that was all right. It's all right.
It's
We
all
could have
right.
played some other music. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we aren't soaked,
Because
walking out in button-ups and ties.
I'm like that walk, like if you were on campus or something, that walk back to your dorm or even the long walk to your car, it was like you had a lot to think about. And it wasn't even like a walk of shame, but it was just like I have a lot to think about because right now I'm burning up, but I'm cold and I'm wet and I'm like,
And
Dog,
you're thinking like, we had a time. We
Yeah.
had a time tonight. We did good.
we would come back from parties like we just left a playoff game. Just
Yeah.
like shirt on the floor, just like just shower, gotta think about what happened tonight, go over the plays, like all right, that was a good one.
Right.
I should have did this. All right.
Watch a film.
All right, you see there?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they did
Should've-
with Sammy. Like this play, this is gonna change the game right here. You see that right here? They're like, oh, coach. But don't it stink down there? He's like, but you gotta taste it.
See, now that's why we're doing this. That's all you do. Y'all gotta learn.
You gotta learn. All right? Rewind.
Sammy ain't paying attention to all those knuckleheads.
Hey,
He's locked in the coach. He know coach know what he's talking about.
I'm
He's like,
gonna skip forward. Let's keep it a buck. At the end of the movie, we time skip and we see that Sammy's an established artist. It ain't because the music. It's because he traveled America establishing
They're like,
the
you know,
technique.
Preacher Boy coming to town. Oh, Preacher Boy coming to town. I'm gonna go to his show. I'm gonna see what he's talking about. Yeah, he can sing too.
He can sing,
He can do a lot of things with that mouth. Yeah.
he he traveled the country, and that's how he made his fortune. They came for the music, but they stayed for the technique.
Uh,
Yo, and Stack saw it all happen.
yeah.
Proud
Vampire
vampire
Stack,
cousin.
Vampire Stack just watching it all.
Dad was like, "That's my boy."
That man was so proud. He
Get him!
saw it
Go
all
on, get him!
happen.
Get him,
Yes.
boy!
You know,
Yes.
you know what's about to come up. Rudy Clown. Every
My boy.
Oh man! All right, all
oh,
right.
oh, hey, I did
Bro,
this with
yo,
my
ran that play to perfection. He had one play. He learned it on the pass with his cousin, and he ran that sucker to perfection all his life.
Mhm.
Oh my God!
It was basically the tush push or like the Eagles like you can't stop it. That's the one play I do. You can't stop it. Everybody loves it.
Oh, it's like they do a 30 for 30, the Sammy move. He's like, yeah, we used to just, do it like we do it, but like Sammy came in there and was like, watch this. It just changed the game.
Change the game. Change the game.
Yeah.
Yo, now I got two plays. I got
He
two plays now. And
he used his
perfection.
mouth, and in the 30s, that just wasn't heard of.
And he moved it.
Yo, I did want to say this real quick. Because we were getting into like, when everything broke loose at the and they came, the vampires. The what I was gonna say was I couldn't really believe like, dag, it went down like that because Stat was my favorite character. Like
Yeah.
up to that point, like he was smooth talking, he was funny, he was like, and I was like, this is to me one of the best characters on here. And then I'm like, oh, so like it's a wrap now. Like not
Well,
like one.
Shannon, can we, before we get to,
I have to ask the question.
Yeah.
The question that this
Yes.
episode, the reason this episode is starting.
Oh yeah.
So as fellas, y'all remember when we were talking about we're gonna do this episode, I texted y'all this. So we took care of Preacher Boy and him discovering something and making us all proud.
Mhm.
There's another scene when Mary comes back. We know Mary's a vampire, and I forgot what she says when they on the dance floor. She's like, "You like big bad criminal, but you ain't man enough to take this."
oh,
No.
oh,
She said, "You
yo,
didn't
yeah, it
rob.
was dog. It was a
You,
bar. Like,
you didn't
no
rob
man could,
and
like,
banks."
Hold on, Shannon got it. Go ahead,
oh,
Shannon.
good.
She said, "You didn't rob trains and banks, but you can't steal this pussy for one night." I
That's it. That's
Bruh.
it.
was like, "Whoa!"
Folding. That 1/8 black, I swear. I was like, wow. So we all knew what it was after that. I was like, so Stack gonna be a vampire.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so he gonna be. I already knew the plot of the story. I was like, all right, so one of the brothers gonna be a vampire because he gonna be a vampire.
Yeah.
Look,
There's
so
no way he hears that. And he's like, "Girl, get away from me!" And like, there's no way the movie would have
Yeah.
ended there. But that didn't
No.
happen.
nah.
No.
So when they start doing that thing,
At what point do y'all think Stack realized that she was killing him? Because, and I ask this because some freaky
they are
people.
freaks.
They some freaks.
We talked about this, fellas. The only surprise in that whole scenario for Stack was he woke up a vampire. That was the only, oh, I'm a vampire now? Because
Yeah.
everything else was by the book for them. The fact that he's like, you're drooling. He's like, you want to taste? And he was like, why not?
Yeah.
Like,
They
they've
ain't
been
seen
there
each other in
before.
7 years.
They've been there before.
They ain't seen each other in 7 years. That was not new. That was not new. Bruh. And this is how, like, can we take a step back? This is how I knew they were freaky. She went to her mother's funeral
The day
looking
before.
for Stack. Like, she's like, oh, I know they're gonna show up here.
It's my
And the
mama's
first time
funeral.
she sees him, it's like, well, you stuck your tongue on my coos and you act
You
me harder than
just
I'd ever imagine. I'm like, damn,
you
you're
just
here for
buried
your
your
mama's
mother.
funeral.
You're only here to bury your mom. You
Yeah.
have a husband. You're only
You
here to
got a
bury.
whole husband. And that's why, you know why? Because Stack discovered something
Yeah.
Dog.
and Sammy took that ball and ran with it to the Hall of Fame.
Hey,
Hey,
Stack walked so Sammy could run.
they
Yes.
they teaching him
Yes,
something in
indeed.
Chicago, and like, but yeah. The only Stacker was just like, oh my god, I'm a vampire because everything
He
else.
woke up like, oh, this got out of hand. Maybe we went a little too far. I knew she was biting me what was coming out, but maybe we just
He's
took it a
like,
little
damn,
too
she was a
far.
vampire, like, because the biting, he welcomed it. His hands was all like
Yeah.
this, just
Yeah.
up. He was just,
He was like, oh, okay, okay.
oh, dang, girl, all right, calm down.
Never said the safe word. Never said the safe
I knew he
word.
was doomed when she was like, "You want to taste?" and he didn't even say yeah. He was just like, nah. he just he hit the curb. He was like, like dog. Oh, and felt I literally said ew.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I
was like,
said,
ew, gross.
Yeah. Because you know how they're like, hey, don't yuck somebody's yum. I was like, consider that yum yucked. Because ain't no way.
Hey,
Ain't no way.
we ain't here to kink shame. Whatever
Mhm.
rocks your boat and helps you find the remote, you do it. But y'all fools is nasty.
Uh,
That's cool. You're nasty.
At no point did this man use the safe word. Can I remind y'all? He became a vampire. They are some freaky, and again, they haven't seen each other in 7 years. And they
mhm.
picked it right back up
Like
where they
no
left
warm
off.
up. No like,
No
oh yeah,
warm up.
like, oh yeah, let me all right, open your mouth. Like, just it's
And
been
mind
seven
you,
years.
that's still Mary in there. So she knew exactly what she needed to
Yeah.
say and do to
Mhm.
get Stack in that situation. It wasn't like this was like vampire in trance. All of a sudden, she just got freakier. No, no, no. That was her. That's
Yeah.
her. She's just
Mhm.
like, my goal is to get him in a place so I can kill him.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I need to say and do. Mm,
Oh man. But,
mm. They
but
freaky.
and then after they discover she bites him and like dog, everyone's gotta go and all hell breaks loose. Just like really great. And fellas, you know what I really appreciate about this movie? There was no there for a second, in horror movies when stuff really hits the fan and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. Why is Mark acting like this? Are you a werewolf? Well, what's going on?" Like, no, Annie was like, "Hey y'all, they vampires. Vampires, y'all. Vampire rules. There's vampires
And,
coming." Like
and everyone's like, really? And then and look, she provided a hypothesis. They had questions, they collected data,
yeah,
and then they came to a conclusion. We
vampires.
saw science.
Yeah.
She provided a hypothesis. They
She
were
was
like,
like,
huh,
well,
let's test that theory.
she's
Correct.
she didn't go straight to vampire. She's like, well, it could be hex. So
Mhm.
let's
Yes.
figure it out. Because if they hex, everyone could go home. It's gonna be all right. But if they vampires, we got a whole nother thing on our
No little
hands.
problem.
Uh-huh.
That's what an exterminator does at your house. He looks at the, he's like, huh, well,
Yeah.
it could be this and it could be that. We're gonna lay a
Oh, you
few
see
traps
this?
here. We're gonna see what's going
You got them
on.
all in your foundation right here. That's termites right there. You got vampires all up in your walls right here. There you go. Oh, she spit in your mouth. You got a vampire. You got a
Yeah.
Yeah,
vampire.
that might be a vampire.
That might be a
Here, eat this
vampire.
garlic right here.
You could be freaks, but that might be a vampire. Oh, and speaking of the garlic, I love the nod to the thing when they all the
Hmm.
garlic scene. I was like, dang, Ryan, come on, he doing the thing. And fellas, why in every horror movie when we have like a thing scene? Why does it have to be one person who's like, well, I don't, this is stupid. I think this is dumb. Just do the test.
Yeah.
Just why do we even have to?
Can I just do a subtle warning for anyone who will ever be around me? in a situation like that, I want you to be aware. If we have to prick our finger, if we have to chug Diet Pepsi, if we have to put Jello in our eye. I don't really know what the type of remedies are for these type of situations, but if there is a prescribed action to prove that we ain't one of them and you hesitate, you're going down.
You're done. You're
You
done,
are going
dog.
down
You're done.
quickly.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I hear a yeah, but you're done.
You're
You're
done. Just like
done.
we're not even. Oh, do we really have to eat this garlic? Like, yes, yes. You're done. You're
You're done. Done. We can figure it out at the end. Nah, I ain't playing that. And then all that coughing Delroy was doing
Yeah.
in the
Oh
garlic, like,
my,
my dude, are you allergic? You're doing a little
bruh.
too much coughing, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah. You
No,
for the
no,
good of the
no, no,
group.
no,
You done too.
Thought he was, yeah. I thought he was one of them for a second because I was like, that's wild. How when did that even happen? But no, it was just him on his mess.
Now
What?
he should have been the one complaining about eating garlic. He's like, look, y'all, I might be allergic. I ain't never really ate garlic like that. Can we have a conversation real quick? Is there some other things we can do?
Another thing in this movie that I thought was so funny is when Cornbread. You know, we never see. You know what's funny? We never see anyone get bit. We never see the like actual act of becoming a vampire. It's always like the after, right? So even with Cornbread, no, I was laughing because I was like, you know, your big ass shouldn't be out there. Why did you have to go all the way in the woods to take a piss? You could have just went around the side of the building. But when he's
Mhm.
out there and he's trying to pee and like I don't know if y'all noticed every time he like heard like Cornbread, like the sound effect of the pee would stop. So
Yes.
he's like, what?
Hold
What?
up.
And he's like start peeing. Huh? What? Who there?
I think by the last one he stopped. He didn't care. He was like, I really gotta pee.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Annie, like it's vampires, y'all. Vampire rules. We do this. Yo, what did y'all make of, Grace and after her husband got bit? Because I think Ryan Coogler was trying to say something, but I'm interested in what y'all thought about that whole
Nah,
exchange.
I think the only way those vampires were going in, like they processed the situation. They're like Ryan, like we they tried the twin. They're like, hey, I'm out here, come out here, we're together forever. That didn't work. They tried the white girl, that didn't work. They tried cornbread, that didn't work. And they're like, all right, well, we got the husband. Maybe we can talk about the daughter. Like they were going to try everything to get into
So
that barn. So it was just process of elimination.
so I'm not really talking about the vampires. I'm talking about Grace and her actions. What did you make of like her doing what she did? Just like come in here. And as a parent, I completely understand what she did. But so this is I think Ryan Coogler was saying something, and that there's so much intertwined like between like Black and Asian cultures, especially in our communities. There's a lot of like like I said, we exchange commerce, whatever. But then when stuff goes down, Grace's husband's like, "We gotta go," and she's like, "What?" He's like, "We're." She's like, he says something along the lines of like, "We're not here for this. We're not here to
Oh,
help
she
them."
said that. She said that to him.
She said that to him. Okay,
She said
one of
she's like, we gotta go. And he was
yeah,
like, what? Nah, like Stacks my people was like, no, no, no.
yeah.
We
It's like
gotta
we're
go.
not
Yeah.
here to help with this. And I feel, and it made me think about like do the right thing, and then like I remember around COVID where like there was so much shock in like that racism was alive once all these Asian communities were being attacked. Do y'all remember
Hmm.
that? And it's
Hmm.
like I don't know what he was trying to say, but it's like we're really intertwined, but the thinking that you're not like us. In
Mhm.
better words, it's like what does that mean? And it's like no, like we're all in this together. Like you think that maybe because you can transition like back to the one take scene, you can jump between worlds and you can code switch better than we can. that maybe you're this, but like no, you're really when it comes down to it, we're all in it together, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I took it
Mm,
too as like allyship or co-conspiratorship. Like
Hmm.
it's a choice. And so because yeah, even if you're in close community with someone, I mean, like you're saying, those pieces can happen where to be real, society sees you, you have different shades of skin color, but society sees you as you don't have this shade, so
Hmm.
y'all are over here.
Yeah.
But then among that, they're sort of like, well, no, I'm not this, I'm not that, and so people feel they can opt out and say, this isn't my fight, like
yep.
this
It's a
is,
caste system.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they feel that way. Yeah, they're like, hey, this is not my fight. We got to get out of here. Like you're
And,
saying, we're not here for this. But
and the thing with Grace, it wasn't her fight until it was her fight. Then it
yeah,
became everybody's problem. She
hmm
was
Yeah.
ready to dip. They were ready to dip until she was like, "All right, we're all." And then she was talking to like Stack and Smoke, like, or talking to Smoke, like, the best offense is a good defense. Come on in, So now it's everybody's issue when you were ready to
Hmm.
dip like a couple minutes ago. So I just found that really interesting.
Yeah. Hey, she did get the husband though. I will say that. She went out like a G.
She did. Hey,
She went out
hey,
like a G.
she did. Hey, she said, "Come on in." She was.
Yeah,
Hey,
she was
as a
gully.
parent, I completely understand why Grace did what she did. She's like, "You going after my daughter? I'm taking all y'all out tonight." Like,
and I mean,
Yeah.
ugh, I say
Yeah.
this to put a little damper on it. She was like, I don't want you to get my daughter. And now her daughter is an orphan. It was like, dang. Like, it was like, I mean, who knows? Maybe things could have went different and she could have made it out and then she got some sad news to tell her daughter, but at least she can tell her daughter. Now, now her daughter ain't
yeah.
got neither one of them.
But
So
then, like Shannon, that's what you're saying, and that was like the cast. It was like maybe that could have happened, but because you thought this wasn't your problem or your issue, now this is where we are. Now she's an orphan. Versus if you worked this as a community together, maybe we could have found a way for all of us to make it out of that barn
Yeah,
at
I know
sunrise.
there's a deeper thinking, but they're vampires. They're gonna get in that building. I just want y'all to be clear about it. I hear the theory, the philosophicalness, and I agree. But they're going against vampires. They would have found something else. Like if that didn't work, they had four more plays in the book that they were gonna run. They were gonna get in that. They were gonna get into that juke joint, and they were gonna get Sammy. That was the plan verbatim. So
I was
Mm.
surprised they didn't try to. I mean, it ended up catching on fire, but I was thinking, couldn't they eventually just try to set it on fire themselves? The vampires and
yeah, but they didn't want to hurt
But
Sammy
see,
because they wanted to
yeah,
keep
and that's
Sammy.
that's the thing. I think Remick, he really believed in what he was spitting. Like he's like, no, we all can be like one clan. Like,
Yeah,
cause
that too.
I
Mhm.
They
don't.
were really upset when old girl died.
Yeah,
When
they're like, no, what are you
Smoke, they're like,
doing?
no, like
Yeah,
what? Like, yeah.
it's Wumi Masaku. Like, why, dog? Why? No! How could you smoke? I was the same way. I
Forever.
was the
We
same
could
way
have
when it was here. Why smoke? How could you?
Oh man.
She would have made a
Hilarious.
beautiful vampire.
Oh man. Oh man, that's so funny.
uh,
Yeah, y'all. So I know we're probably getting there, but the scene of the brothers, like Stack trying to kill Smoke, was it silver around his neck, or was it like that protection thing? Like, how come
yeah,
Stack
I think
couldn't
it was
get
both.
Smoke?
I think it was both. I think because
Oh,
because Annie made what do they call it, the mojo.
Yeah, Mojo Bag.
Yeah, but I do think it was a little bit of both because like it looked like one of them had like a silver necklace or something. So that was a great scene, even technically. Like I wasn't like, oh, Michael B. Jordan's fighting Michael B. Jordan. I was like, oh, look at these two brothers
Mhm.
who one's a vampire fighting each other. It's beautiful. Beautiful
Yeah,
scene.
man, that's what a wild experience for both of them. Cause like I can't Smoke's like this dude's a vampire and he's trying to kill this is my brother, but he's a vampire. And Stack, I can imagine it's like, I gotta hurry up and kill this guy so we can be
We
together
can be
forever. Like
vampire brothers, dog. Like,
forever. You know what I'm saying? Like I got he's being selfish. Like, come on.
come on, man. Let me look. Mary already taught me some new stuff. You ain't gonna believe what we got on the vampire.
We done did two things. You know when it was quiet for like the past 30 minutes? We done figured some stuff
You
out.
thought
There's some
spitting
stuff
in
we
the
can do with
mouth was
trees.
crazy. Wait till
We can
you
fly. Did you know we can fly?
wait till you're up in the sky.
Oh my goodness.
and that's and that's why when they killed Annie, no,
Yeah.
no, Smoke,
That could have been you, Smoke.
no, no, Annie.
The things you could have do.
They all ran because they had to deal with it. He killed Annie. You just see the vampires hitting the no, no, no.
That is hilarious.
Like they had a clear number one. Number one was Sammy, but there was number two.
Yeah.
and we can't get Sammy walking away with Andy tonight. No bull. That was their second. Sammy's the goal, but if we leave it with something, we
like
leave
the
it with
goal
Andy.
is to win the Super Bowl. But if I could be the MVP, if I could be the MVP, it's a bonus. And they lost the chance to have the MVP. Like, no, damn it. Oh man.
Can I ask y'all, like, what do you think? Like, we're getting to the end. What do you think the movie was trying to say? Because if I have any criticism, I don't know what the message is because there's so many things happening in this movie. Even how Sammy like he chooses his music over I don't know repentance and the church, you know?
Yeah, I think it's like chase your dreams. Because
Mm-hmm.
like Sammy literally danced with the devil
Mm-hmm.
and was like he's like he could easily have chosen to just be a preacher, be at his dad's church where it's safe, and then stay there, or explore this thing that is a passion of his that he loves that he's really good at. And he had he's like literally facing with the devil and was like, you know what? I faced that and I still want to follow my passion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's kind of like what are you willing to face to what challenge are you willing to take on in order to like go towards your dreams? At least that's what I took away from it.
It
Because I couldn't really figure out anything else that it could
well,
have been. So
because it's like no, I'm not saying you're not wrong, but it's like music is a staple in this world in this universe. Music brings people together. It attracts good and evil. So like, is he making a mistake? How? And the thing is, the beautiful thing about it is we don't know how many other vampires Sammy ran into in his 60-year career as a musician. Like, is this something in this universe? Is this just something you gotta deal with? If you nasty with the keys, you gotta fight vampires every couple of years. Like,
I
is
think so.
this?
I think
Yeah.
so. That's the thing Prince had to deal with all the
Prince is
time.
just like
Yeah.
He's like he's looking at the revolution. He's like, that was a little too good tonight, y'all. We're gonna have to be extra safe
Prince,
when we go.
dog. I can just see Prince after a show just coming in. All right, everyone, have some garlic. It's just like what? What, Prince? Like, do it. Just like
Do it, damn it. That's
Yeah.
how we party here.
that's how we party. And everyone thinks because it's Prince, oh, Prince just he into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
Prince,
garlic,
Prince let you
garlic
eat
and
garlic before you get into the house.
Yeah, before you get
can't
into his
even
house,
do
you gotta
nothing.
have
You gotta
garlic.
eat garlic.
Little did you know he was saving the world.
But yo, I'm with you on that. I think it's a mix of like you're saying the like follow your dreams and then just I don't know, the choices you have to make as you forge whatever your path is. Because I think of, like we said, we're thinking of the religion piece. I think depending who we are, I think there's so many responsibilities and things that are weighed upon us that then we have to make a decision. Because we're like, okay, as a father I should do this, as a Christian I should do this, as an employee I should do this, and then people have these expectations of you, and sometimes you have other things, and it doesn't even mean that what you want to do is bad or anything, but sometimes it's contradictory to that, and you're just like, but I really want to do this, and I feel like I'm good at this, and this is fine. So for me, yeah, it's sort of that, because in the end, I feel like there was no hard answer on anything,
Yeah.
because I think that, like, that was sort of true of the time back when not R&B, but when blues was coming out, people were like, that's the devil's music, like, and that's the blues now. Like, we ain't even got to, like,
We ain't
what
got to
rock and
Sexy Red and
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like,
But people were really like, that's the devil's music and that's gonna ruin your life. Like, it's either be in this church, or it's horrible. And then we also see, it makes me think of our people, maybe Aretha Franklin might have been one, but definitely like Patti LaBelle and others who were gospel singers, had a gift, and they never forgot their roots, but they were like, I am this, like, I don't think anybody would say Patti LaBelle was a gospel singer, like, she didn't forget her roots, but
Whitney
she was
Houston.
definitely,
Whitney Houston's entire career was in the church
yeah.
before she went pop.
Hmm.
yeah.
So it's sort of like those things. Yeah, they forged their path, and you know, some people, I'm sure, were like, "You're leaving the church, you turning your back on." But it's like, no, I'm just following what my gift is,
Yeah.
and I would, you
No, no, no.
know,
I think the beautiful thing about the movie is it doesn't it doesn't say like this bad, this good. It
Mhm.
doesn't say that like, there because in the movie there is some like, oh, before Christianity was forced upon Africans, we had this, and I think that's what Annie's character represents, like the old ways. But it's not necessarily like Sammy's dad isn't a villain. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He's not like a bad dude, and it's like, nah, dog, you've messed with vampires all night. You could have been here in the church, and you would have been all right. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know what exactly I'm trying to say, but I love that the movie is like not picking a side. It's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe rock and roll is it's not maybe not necessarily the devil's music, but he's got a ticket. He can
Mhm.
come watch the show. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is that worth the risk? And I
Mm.
find that very interesting.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Those scars on the side of his face will tell me no.
I would have
The
been,
answer is
dog.
no.
Yeah,
I'll
because
be
me and
at
Sammy
church.
are two different. I would have been like,
In church, happy, comfortable.
I would have
No.
been,
Hmm.
I would have picked but then I also think that it's not even that serious. Sam was just like, nah, I've seen vampires in Mississippi, so I'm gonna get as far away from Mississippi as I ever can.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm not gonna stay here.
I'm not gonna stay here.
I'm gonna go up there. I need to be around more people. All right, y'all.
Sammy that day went to the bus stop and he was like, "How far can this get me?" And he was like, "I need to get as far away from Mississippi as possible." And they're like, "All right, here you go."
Do you have bags and stuff? No.
No, just
For
this,
this.
just this handle and this
Can I
Wolverine
get to
scar.
Canada? Where can I go? Chicago, fine, fine.
Fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Anything else?
Hey,
Uh,
I hope we get more of this, man. I hope this gives. Oh, and dog, shout out to the producer, not the producer, the guy who did the score, Ludwig. I'm forgetting his
Yeah,
name.
same dude from Black Panther.
He did Black Panther, Creed, Oppenheimer. I think he did Tenet, but him and Ryan Coogler were roommates in college. So it's like
You're
that's
lying.
they were roommates in college. So whoever like the person who was like Ryan Coogler and Ludwig, like you didn't know what you were creating. You know,
Mhm.
this guy's won 2 Oscars and he's 40 years old.
Yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal score person.
Yeah, just
And like I think he even did some of the songs on the Black Panther soundtrack.
yeah. Oh yeah.
He's good.
He's
He's good. Wow. That is phenomenal. Who knew that? All
Oh.
right, y'all. Anything else?
Uh,
great movie, man. I hope this means that Hollywood. I before we go, I think this says a couple things. One, I think this is proof that we are at the tail end of the superhero trend. I think audiences want more original stories. We're kind of IP drained. Like, what else you got? And I hope Hollywood gives more talented directors chances.
yeah. And like in my opinion, unless I'm wrong, but I think of the Ryan Coogler movies, and this was the first time that he got to just swing and create something completely anew. Because I mean,
Yeah.
even thinking of Fruitvale Station, I mean, that was that was a real life thing, and of course he had the ability to play with it and add some stuff. Obviously, we know Black Panther, and then Creed is a spinoff of Rocky. So this was like his first opportunity to just be like, I'm gonna just make up something that's in my head, and wow,
Wow.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing many more of those.
Can I ask y'all something? One, real quick. I refuse to watch Fruitvale just because I am super anti black torture porn.
Mhm.
And I already know how that movie's going to end. I don't need to see it. I'm sure it's phenomenal. I
Oh yeah.
just refuse to watch it. Where do y'all rank this in Ryan's work? Is Sinners better than Black Panther?
No,
Okay,
no.
Shannon.
I gotta think. I will probably, I mean, like Neil, I will probably end up saying no, but I have to think on it. Like I can't just easily say nope.
Okay.
I really gotta think on it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't think it's better than Creed.
ooh,
I
really?
think Creed's better. I think Creed's better than Sinners. Yeah. I think
Wow.
Sinners is very good. But I think it is not better than Black Panther. I think Black Panther still is
Wow.
number one.
Hey,
And
I
I
agree.
think what he did for Creed, Creed is a phenomenal
Yeah.
movie. And I think Sinners is under that.
Well, I agree with you, Dennis. I think it's not as good as Black Panther, but we all can agree it's better than Black Panther 2,
I knew
right?
he would say that.
We can all agree that.
That's what he was saving for.
I
He
know.
was this entire thing was just this entire the reason we're even doing this podcast is for him to just say that line.
Admit it. Admit it.
Shannon, Mark, it was great talking with y'all. And thank you, Pop Call. Thank you for listening. We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Pop Call Crew. POP, excuse me, POPCULTCREW. Become a member of the Pop Call at our Patreon, where you can see all of our full video episodes. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
Annie.
Pop Culture Crew.